Tomorrow night's 48 Hours Mystery takes a look at a fascinating and frustrating case. 3 murders, an alleged serial killer on the run for nearly 2 decades, and a victim connected to Ashton Kutcher.
The murder happened here in the middle of the night. Someone jumped out of the bushes and stabbed 18-year-old Trisha Pacaccio to death.
I was the one who found her. I woke up when I had a cup of coffee and I was going out to my van. And when I saw it was her, I dropped the coffee cup.
I remember just waking up to this blood-curdling scream of my father. Just the second I heard it, I knew something was very badly wrong.
I died right then and there.
Everybody was beside themselves. Why would anybody do something like this?
A friend of the victim's 2 brothers was our immediate suspect. Mike Gargiulo is a very powerful young man, and he flat refused to cooperate with the police. Mike Gargiulo went to California to get out of the scrutiny here in Illinois.
Hollywood Hills, 2001. A 22-year-old believed to be actor Ashton Kutcher's girlfriend is stabbed to death. 2005, a 32-year-old woman is stabbed in her home. 2008, a young woman is woken up by a man attacking her with a knife.
Trisha greatly resembled the other victims here in California.
At this time, no one has been charged in her murder.
My family's been waiting for justice for Trisha's murder for 17 years.
With what we know today, Michael Gargiulo may be a serial killer.
And joining us now is Dr. Doug Pacaccio, Trisha's brother. Doctor, good morning.
Good morning.
Your sister's murder has gone unsolved for nearly 18 years now. When did it first become evident to you that Michael Gargiulo was the suspect?
The cold case detectives came out and visited me when I was in my residency in about 2004 and informed me that he was a suspect in a couple of attacks in California and that they had found his DNA at the crime scene of my sister's murder.
You know, I've read reports that there was 2 sides to this guy. There was normal Mike and there was Mad Mike. I know they're kind of labeling him the kind of this boy next door thing, but did you ever suspect at all that he was a suspect or that he could be potentially, I guess, guilty of doing something like this?
I mean, it made sense in hindsight, but at the time, no. I mean, you see this side of this guy. He was a neighborhood kid, grew up. We're all kids together, and he was familiar with the area and familiar with all the families. You just don't look in your own backyard on some of these things because it was such a shock, and the whole episode was such a mystery to everybody in terms of who would want to attack my sister. She was harmless. She had nothing but friends. And when you look in hindsight, it makes sense because it's such a senseless thing, and clearly Michael has done this several times since. So it's at the time it was hard to imagine, but it seems to make sense now.
Take me through this situation. I know there was a point where the 2 of you were together, and he had asked if you found out who killed your sister, would you kill him? What were you thinking was going on now in hindsight in that situation?
I thought it was just one of those things a piece of conversation. He wouldn't have been the first person to ask me that. I think people try to get inside our heads in terms of what's going through our minds and how we feel about what happened. And my answer was, and I don't remember if my answer was I would or that I could, but it was an affirmative answer for sure. And I didn't know at the time that he was maybe testing me. We thought that he was probably or likely going to confess, and when I told him sure I would or could, but I'd have to get in line with probably every other guy in my family and who was friends with my sister, and I think he took that as a threat actually.
Can you figure out why Chicago law enforcement has not been able to kind of place this, the murder of your sister on Gargiulo? I mean, he's now, I know, going to go on trial in California and could be convicted of other attacks and other killings. I mean, how does that make you feel that he may actually not go to jail for the murder of your sister?
We've had the hardest time figuring out why this is happening the way it's happening. They have DNA at the scene. He did not have any contact with her, despite the fact that she had contact with all of her classmates that very night on their senior road rally. So why they haven't pursued this, to me, and being on the inside, it seems somewhat political. I think that they would maybe have to admit that some mistakes were made and reconcile those mistakes. And at times, I think when political careers are involved, it's easier to ignore something that isn't close to them than to actually do the right thing and pursue it.
Well, we thank you for taking the time with us here, Dr. Doug Pacaccio. Thanks again. We
Thank you.
We do thank you for talking with us.